the G&T rally trying to save Gifted and Talented program in New York City. So I'm going to keep this running until it conks out. So this should probably go about 45 minutes. There's going to be some speakers here in a minute, so let's see what happens. So we'll just pan for a minute. So Mayor just announced that he's removing basically all honors programs from all schools. So this is in resistance to that because there's a lot of talented kids in New York City. It's called Gifted and Talented, which might be a misnomer, but it's for children who can do advanced things, and they're just trying to get into different schools and programs. New York City is very competitive, so there's a lot of competition that happens. And the mayor's claiming in the name of diversity that these programs should be removed to give the other children a fair chance. The problem is most schools in New York City, public schools we're talking about, run by the Department of Education, are failing. And I don't mean like 10 are failing or 10% is failing. I mean like the majority, 75% of all schools are failing. So this is against this, okay? So here we go. All right, they're trying to set up still.
Hello.
All right, so I just did a head count. There's 200 people here because there's people besides me as well, about 30 people next to me. So there's about 170 up there and just didn't even start yet, so more people will come.
Good? Sound check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good morning, everybody. Are we good? Welcome, everybody. We have a beautiful day here, downtown Manhattan, in front of the Tweed Building. My name is Vito Labella. I am co-founder of Place New York City, and Place New York City was founded about 2 years ago in response to the city's misguided effort to do away with a specialized high school admissions test. We are the fastest growing parent organization in New York City. We are made up of Republicans and Democrats, people who lean left, people who lean right, and we're all together working toward education excellence in New York City. That's our mission. Thank you, everybody. Education excellence in New York City. That's what PLACE stands for. And we're here today specifically because of the mayor's misguided effort to do away with not only the specialized high school test, but the very feeder schools that make those schools possible and make them what they are today. The mayor wants to get rid of the gifted and talented classes throughout the city, and we're here to tell him no.
No! Woo!
So right now I'm going to introduce our first speaker, a great friend of Place New York City, a great friend of education, Assembly Member William Colton.
Yeah!
You know, I've been talking to a lot of parents, and I've been talking to the CEC 20, the CEC 21 in my district. I've been speaking with parents, and I hear one thing from them. I hear one big concern that they have. I hear one big demand that they have, and that is save G&T!
Yeah!
Save G&T! Save G&T! Save G&T!
G&T! Save G&T! Yeah!
Now, why should we have to keep meeting like this and trying to make the mayor hear what I can hear very well? I hear what the parents are saying, but for some reason, the mayor and the chancellor don't seem to be able to hear it.
Ooh.
And it's our job to make sure that they do hear it. And if they don't want to hear it, that's their problem. But they are not listening to parents. And in education, not listening to parents leads to a disaster. You know, I was a teacher for 11 years, and I taught in the public school system. I taught in a school in Bed-Stuy in District 13. I taught in PS 56. And in 2 of those 11 years, I had the opportunity to teach a gifted and talented class. And the children in my class were reading years above grade level. And the children in my class were all African American students. And they were bright. They were bright. They were doing so well in a gifted and talented class. These were the students who were passing the SHSAT. These were the students who were getting admitted into a specialized high school, Brooklyn Tech, our own Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah! Woo!
These were the students who constituted a majority of Brooklyn Tech in those days.
That's right.
And what happened? Why did the mayors and the Department of Education stop using the G&T programs in Bedford-Stuyvesant and in northern Brooklyn and central Brooklyn? Why were they closing them down when you had so many students who were doing so well? They were successful.
The mayor is racist.
Yeah!
And I have to say this. I have to say this because it's true. When you systematically deny African American and Hispanic children the opportunity to have gifted programs, that is racism.
Yeah!
The test is not racist. Those same students who were in my classes, those 2 years that I taught gifted and talented classes, who were passing the test, who were getting admitted into the specialized high school they were looking for, was their dream, who went on to go to college, who did so well. Those same students, if they were in that school today, would not have the opportunity to have a gifted and talented class. Now the mayor, who denied gifted and talented classes over the past 8 years to African American and Hispanic students in Bed-Stuy, in many areas, the very areas where you do not have African American children being able to pass the HSAT because they were denied the programs that lead to it. That same mayor now wants to close gifted and talented classes for the whole city, for all parents. And
We are here to speak not only on behalf of our own children, not only on behalf of the children who are in gifted and talented programs. We are here to speak on behalf of all children, those African American and Hispanic children who are being denied gifted and talented classes. And what happened after those classes were closed down? Their parents made a decision to find a different kind of school system that would give their children the kind of education they were qualified for, that they merited, that they needed in order to be successful. And they looked in the parochial schools, the Catholic schools, they looked in charter schools, they looked in private schools to make sure their children got the high quality education that they were so able to do. So we are here finally to make a clear statement to the mayor. It's a statement that comes not just from one group, it comes from every group. Immigrant groups, no matter where they come from in the world, they want to see their children succeed. African American parents want to see their children succeed. And all of us together need to raise our voices and make it very clear to this mayor, who doesn't know how to run a city and obviously doesn't know how to run a school system.
Yeah!
We demand,
Yeah!
we demand that this city administration and the next one, which we have a lot more hope will be more listening to people and listening to parents, we demand that he must save G&T. What do we demand? Save G&T. Love
Save
us and
G&T.
here in that building.
Save
Tweet with us.
Save G&T. 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 Save G&T.
That's our message, and you're going to hear it again and again at this rally, and we should be having other rallies in our own neighborhoods and sounding that message loud and clear, because we want quality education for all children, and to do that, you must meet the unique needs of each child, and G&T meets the unique needs of a large portion of children, much larger than children who are in G&T right now. But we need to expand G&T. So, G&T, expand G&T, expand G&T. So let our voices be heard, let our parents be heard, and let our message be heard. And that's what we're here today to make clear. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Assembly Member. Thank you so much. What a way to start the morning, ladies and gentlemen, or the afternoon now. And we're going to go right from this great speaker to another great supporter of G&T, and that would be Council Member Robert Holden.
Thank you, and thank you, Assemblyman, for the, I don't need coffee now. I woke up. What? Now, please.
Yeah!
Anyway, I had a resolution that I introduced in 2018 to expand G&T to every school in the city of New York. So
Yeah.
I introduced in 2018. It had a hearing, overwhelming support. So what happened? Nothing. No message from the city council. They're not advancing the resolution. They're not really promoting G&T because this mayor doesn't believe in excellence. He doesn't believe in rewarding people that work hard. You need a goal. Our kids need a goal. And by the way, my 3 kids were in G&T. They called it talented and gifted, TAG, back in those days. Now they just reversed it. But whatever it's called, you need a goal. And our children need that. If they work hard, they will be rewarded with excellence with great challenging assignments, and I taught college for 44 years, and we did have people that excelled in the class. About 5 students in every class excelled, and we should give them advanced curricula. Obviously, this mayor doesn't believe in this. He doesn't believe in the ladder to success. He wants to remove the ladder. No excellence in our schools. Now, my 3 kids that were in G&T all succeeded in life. All are executives in their fields. Very successful. It's not a coincidence because they had G&T. And gifted and talented works. It's proven. How many success stories do we hear? 10,000 success stories every year on people that excel in business because of gifted and talented. And the people that want to deny that have blinders on. They don't want people to succeed. They're dumbing down. The mayor doesn't believe, by the way, in any kind of standards. He doesn't believe in grading. He doesn't believe in rewarding. No grades. They don't want grades. And even inflated grades. You don't have to show up to class. You'll pass. You don't have to work hard. You'll pass. When you remove standards,
Don't answer
really
them.
dumb down education. So we need some kind of grading system that's honest. We don't have it. We need more gifted and talented programs. We don't have that. And now they're trying to do away with excellence and gifted and talented. And again, I thank Place NYC. Without your voice, I don't think anybody would listen to the parents, and you are doing that. So I would say, keep fighting. Have more of these. I know it's a chore. We have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. But coming out, the next mayor will definitely hear us. And we have to tell people, expand gifted and talented, expand specialized high schools, right? Isn't that common sense?
Yeah.
Expand G&T definitely. But again, this is a war, and this is a war, again, I believe, on the Asian American community. It really is.
More G&T. 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 More G&T.
And the other thing I want to say again is keep raising your voices. Don't let the counter protesters, the 2 or 3 of them, don't let them really kind of derail our message. Expand G&T. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, council member. So right now I want to introduce you to our fellow GNT. Okay, we're going off script. So thank you very much. I want to introduce now my fellow Place New York City member, the president of Place New York City, co-president with Lucas Liu. But right now, Yatan Chu, and she's going to read a statement.
Yeah!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yatan Chu. As Vito Labella, I am co-president of Place NYC, a co-founder as well, and I'm really happy to be here among fellow parents to advocate for the expansion of G&T programs in New York City. I'm here to read a statement from Senator John Liu, who was not able to be with us today, so the following is his statement that he sent to Place NYC to be read here. G&T has been an integral option for generations of New York City school kids who learn at an accelerated rate at their grade level, and has offered hope for thousands of parents who otherwise would have completely lost confidence in public schools. There's no question that G&T has also been the subject of criticism and controversy, and perhaps changes are in order. However, given the magnitude and impact of such changes, public discourse is absolutely essential. And Mayor de Blasio understood that when he said that on January 13th, that he will have an intensive public engagement with all stakeholders to think through what's right for the future. It's utterly laughable for de Blasio to announce the changes and then claimed that he will now engage stakeholders in the next 2 months. De Blasio's sudden fiat that G&T will be eliminated is disingenuous, if not outright detestable, given that there is not nearly enough time left in his term to have a meaningful public engagement and for him to put any changes in place. He leaves the next administration with yet another mess to clean up, and with public school parents and their children once again suffering the consequences. This move by de Blasio becomes a most vivid example of how public school parents are discounted and disenfranchised under mayoral control, and will undoubtedly be revoked repeatedly as the legislature contemplates extension, modification, or revocation of mayoral control as its expiration in state law approaches in June of 2022. That is the end of Senator Liu's statement. Thank you very much for allowing me to read it, and I want to turn this back to my fellow parent, Vito LaBella.
Thank you, Yatin. So next up we have another statement, and it's going to be read by Deborah Alexander, another Place New York City member. Deborah?
Thank you so much, everyone. I wanted to note that we did receive statements of support from Assemblymember Edward Braunstein from District 26 and Assemblymember Andrew Hevesy from District 28. But right now, it is my privilege to read the statement from Assemblymember Peter Abate from District 49. All children in New York State, by law, are entitled to a free, appropriate public education. The appropriate aspect of education varies drastically per student. It is our job as legislators, educators, administrators, and parents to ensure our children are provided an education in which they can grow and thrive. Gifted and talented programs have successfully provided these much-needed academics and services to the New York City children that require them. I once again condemn Mayor de Blasio for making decisions based on his personal ideology at the detrimental expense of our children. The decision to phase out the G&T program with 2 months left on his mayoral term is not only irresponsible, shameful, and selfish, but will conveniently expunge de Blasio of any accountability or liability. This imprudent decision will inevitably put New York City's children at a severe disadvantage in an inescapably competitive world. That's the end of Assemblymember's Abate's statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. So when Place New York City got started, we got started because the city poked the bear. And it motivated thousands of parents from across this city to wake up and to take action. And we started as a parent organization, but I'm proud that some of our members are going to take it even farther. So with that, I want to introduce Maud Marin, former CEC2 president and current candidate for City Council in District 1, co-founder, Place New York City. Maud Marin.
Thank you so much, Vito. What I'd really like to do right now is address the next mayor of New York. But before I address the next mayor of New York, I'd like to address the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. Do we look like domestic terrorists? This is what parent advocacy looks like. Parents standing outside of DOE headquarters, demanding to be heard, demanding a better education for our children, and demanding that you listen to us when we tell you what our children need and how they will succeed. Look, I woke up this morning and read that the nation's report card, the NAEP scores, were released. And for the first time since the 1970s, 13-year-olds in our country are doing worse in math and in English. We're doing worse. What we're doing in our schools isn't working. And by the way, these are pre-COVID test scores, so you can't blame it on COVID. That's really serious. And we here in New York City are in the largest school district of the entire country. What our country is focusing on, what we are trying to turn our schools into, is not working. Our schools need to be places of academic excellence, not indoctrination, not giant group therapy sessions. Our schools need to be places where children are learning. They're learning how to read, they're learning mathematics, and they're preparing themselves to go to college. They're preparing themselves to compete in a global world. Only about 2,500 kids a year get seats in New York City's G&T program. It clearly needs to be expanded. It also needs to be expanded, as our legislative speakers have told us, into districts that don't have access to it right now. The other thing we need to do is have universal screening. There are brilliant kids in every single district of our city. We need to fix G&T, we need to keep it, we need to expand it, we need universal screening, and we need to acknowledge that schools are a place where academic excellence should be celebrated. We only hear excellence in the slogan, excellence and equity, but we don't see it in action. We need to see it in action by honoring the kids who are ready to move further and faster in their classroom, by understanding that differentiation doesn't work, by honoring all of the IEPs that have been ignored during COVID so that children can be supported at whatever level they walk into the classroom at. That's what we need. And so I say to our next mayor, whoever that may be, reject the entire philosophy that Bill de Blasio has visited upon our school system, because it has been a philosophy of tearing down and ignoring excellence. We want to recognize our children's ability, so we ask that we maintain G&T for this year, but that we look to the future so that we expand G&T and bring all children in who can benefit from it. Listen to the parents.
Thank you, Maud. So, we have elected officials from all over the city, state, local level. But what's really important are the voices of ordinary parents. And we're going to hear from a parent right now, Ms. Mona Davis. Mona Davids, I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you, Vito. Thank you to the leadership of Place NYC for organizing this important press conference and rally. Thank you. Moore touched on many of the points that I actually wanted to make, but I'm just going to add a little bit more. When I was attending school in the 1980s in Bedford-Stuyvesant, we had honors, gifted and talented classes in all schools.
Yes!
When I went to high school in the 80s, because I graduated in 1991, the majority of Brooklyn Tech was Black and Hispanic because there was a pipeline. There was a pipeline. As I stand here today, my daughter attended and graduated from a specialized high school. I've seen the changes over the years. And what I want to point out to this mayor, with his proven track record of 8 years of failure, is the fact that, one, we do not have gifted and talented or accelerated programs in every New York City public schools. You had 8 years to fix that. Two, a super majority, and I keep on saying this because these are children's lives, a super majority of Black and Hispanic students do not read, do not write, do not do math at grade level. Every single year, we graduate students who are illiterate and illiterate. There should be accelerated programs for all students. We should honor the IEPs and fulfill the mandated services of every student who has an IEP. We need to expand gifted and talented. And we need our next mayor, whoever that is, to reverse this outrageous last-minute policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona.
Say GNT. Say GNT. Say GNT. Say GNT. Say GNT.
Thank you. Thank you. So next up, we have a fellow retired NYPD lieutenant, a former member of the CEC, and assembly member from Staten Island, Michael Riley. Michael, thank you for making it here today.
Thank you, Vito. Thank you for everybody that came out. Thank you for organizing this. You know, what's ironic is that we talk about we're having resources that aren't for everyone. Well, the resources that weren't for everyone were actually the people that they didn't give the resources to that wanted to seek gifted and talented classes.
Exactly.
Our North Shore of Staten Island continuously advocated for more gifted and talented programs and for the resources and the pipeline there. That has failed. They have never given it to them. They threw some money at it, but no real resources. That's a shortfall. You think about the shortfall of this administration when it comes to education, it's highlighted just off a phone call I got today on my walk here. The high school admission process has not even started. They haven't even had any borough admission seminars. They haven't had anything opened up. They're leaving our parents to actually go on school websites and look for the programs instead of having a guide. That's just one example in a growing case of mismanagement and a failure to the 1.1 million school children and the families. It's time that we send a message that we're not going to stand anymore for this. And we got to tell the next mayor, that's it. Restore gifted and talented and put the priorities where they need to be. We need to empower students, not hold them back. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have another candidate for City Council, this time in District 2, and also a friend of Place New York City. She met with us 2 years ago when we first started, Allie Ryan.
Thank you, Vito. Hello, my name is Allie Ryan. I am a founding member of Place. My children attended a district-wide GNT program in a Title I elementary school. We believed in the school's teaching philosophy. Let's see how far you can learn. My oldest child and her classmates entered kindergarten and learned in an accelerated pace. The majority of my daughter's class were black and brown. Many kids traveled from other boroughs 2 hours a day to get a GNT education. My daughter's classmates got into the GNT program based on raw talent and the encouragement of a pre-K teacher. GNT is a school choice, and as we all know, represent a tiny percentage of the overall New York City public school population. The beauty of our school system is school choice. Children learn in different ways. Children learn at different rates. Learning clicks for children at different times. Some children have IEPs. Children develop different skills and interests. It has been frustrating to see over the past few years our elected officials, the media, and anti-GNT activists pit children, parents, teachers, and principals against each other. Politicizing GNT is a distraction to the greater problem. Before 2019, over half of New York City public school students were below grade level. We have a time mismanagement issue. The 10 weeks off for summer break result in knowledge loss between grade levels, which is embedded in the curriculum as a 2 to 3 month review of the prior year. If the mayor and the DOE address reducing and minimizing knowledge loss between grade levels, we would be having a completely different conversation about education today. We might be talking about raising grade level standards. Please be aware that the general election is November 2nd. Ask every political candidate what their stance is on G&T education and accelerated curriculum, and vote for the best candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Once again, Deborah.
I am also privileged to read a statement from Assemblyman Michael Ternousis. He says, the decision by City Hall to eliminate the Gifted and Talented program is short-sighted and irresponsible. Instead of increasing the program to allow more students to be eligible, this administration has decided to eliminate the program completely. This will lead to a mass exodus of students from public schools to charter and private schools. As the son of immigrants, I feel that this decision hurts immigrant groups who motivated their children to apply for and take advantage of the Gifted and Talented program, especially our Asian American community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. So now the other co-president of Place New York City, another co-founder, Lucas Liu.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. You know, it's great to see so many folks out and supporting our schools and kids. And, you know, when I first got into this fight, and let's call it a fight, you know, I thought, how difficult can this really be? Who does not want all kids to get a good quality education? And, you know, what I found out was that we have a mayor and a chancellor who have completely forgotten that schools are supposed to teach our kids, all of our kids. You know, but instead, they're using schools to achieve their version of equity, which involves closing the achievement gap by slowing down education, by taking away opportunities from all kids, by not expanding G&T into all neighborhoods that currently don't have the benefit of a G&T program, by not preparing kids for G&T programs or any other type of advanced learning. And in fact, if you take a look at our schools right now, over 50% of our students are below grade level. And what is the DOE doing about that? They're taking away opportunity to learn. And in that way, they can close the gap by bringing down the top instead of helping students raise up. In New York City, public school education is the only place where you're going to find closing the gap by bringing down the top instead of helping those that need help. You know, it's nice to see that the DOE now wants to teach kids, but they have no plan. They make announcements and they have no plan. And the mayor's recent announcement to just do it at the 11th hour without a plan just reinforces that he does not care. And in fact, all he is doing is sticking it to the next mayor and saying, I am dumping my problem on you. All of us here today, you, everyone behind me, all the other protesters that have been out this week, we are the last line of defense. If we fail, that's it. We are going to go the way of the Detroit public school system, which it's not just a few schools that are failing, it will be all schools that are underperforming and not doing well. From top to bottom, the parents here today, if you look around, are the only ones advocating for expanding opportunity. When you look at all of the other protesters, they are all about taking away opportunity and not even helping the families, the students they claim they want to help. If you look at what they say, take away opportunity, not expand opportunity. So remember that when you are talking about education and New York City public schools, remember who are the ones trying to expand opportunity to all students. Everyone behind me here, right? Remember that. Remember who is really trying to help our kids and who is really trying to take away opportunity. It's very obvious. Don't forget it and keep the fight, because we are, like I said, the last chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
Raise our kids! Raise our kids!
Thank you. Thank you for that. So, Miss Lisa Marks, are you in the crowd here? Lisa, paging. Oh, I see her. I was worried. Here she is.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. I wish that I did not have to be here in front of you, but I must speak out against the mayor's plan to cut G&T programs. The mayor claims that the needs of accelerated learners can be met simply by training teachers to differentiate instruction. I am a New York City DOE teacher, and I think I speak for many of us when I say differentiation of instruction for students who are grade level apart is hard work, but doable. That is the main reason we have students grouped by age into grades to begin with, in order to group kids together who are working at similar levels. And that is also why sometimes some students need to repeat a grade, because learning together with students who are at similar levels is more important than learning together with kids of the same age. Now, with COVID learning losses, teachers are being asked to differentiate to an even broader range of learners. For example, in my daughter's first grade general education classroom, some students are learning the sound of letters and some are learning basic sight words, while others are reading chapter books. Her very experienced teacher has expressed to me how overwhelming this year is because of such a wide divergence of student learning levels. But now with Brilliant NYC, add students who are 1 to 2 years ahead of grade level, combined with those students who are 1 to 2 years behind grade level. It is an impossible task that is simply not going to work to be successful in the real world. That is not asking for great teachers, that is asking for miracle workers. And it is not fair to put this on teachers, and it is not fair to any of the students, not to those who are accelerated above grade level, and it's not fair to those students at or below grade level. None of the students will get the tailored instructions and services they need to thrive when teachers are stretched to the breaking point by unrealistic and impossible demands. That is why I urge the next mayor of New York City to scrap Brilliant NYC, which is neither brilliant nor even feasible. The next mayor must keep GNT and accelerated learning classrooms intact and expand this academically successful model to every borough in every district of New York City. This should have been done 8 years ago. We need more GNT, not less. Thank you.
Thank you. Give it up for Lisa. Yeah, thank you. So we heard from electeds, we heard from parents, and now we're going to hear from a student. Former Brooklyn Techite, like my two sons, Brandon Ho.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I was in the GNT program and went to Specialized High School, Brooklyn Tech. In those programs and in the programs and Brooklyn Tech, I was challenged for my math and science, and then when I was challenged, I became more interested in math and science. Because of that interest, I picked mechanical engineering for my major to study. That's the point of the GAT program and Brooklyn Tech, to pursue like majors that you're interested in at an accelerated rate. What de Blasio is doing is not right. Why push away like potential excellent students when you could like nurture them and grow them? That's the
Yeah!
Yeah, we need more GNT. We need more nurtured people to pursue and make everyone life better. So keep GNT, expand GNT, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Place NYC co-treasurer, president of Krista McAuliffe PTO. You'll do it all. But here he is, because he does it all, Vito LaBella.
Thank you, Deborah. So I'm doing a lot of hat switching this morning, and yes, Deborah did mention that I am the recording secretary for CEC 20, although that's not why I'm here. I'm not speaking on behalf of CEC 20. I'm the president of the Krista McAuliffe 187 PTO, just ranked by U.S. News and World Report as the #2 middle school in New York State. Go District 20. But I'm not here. I'm not here in that capacity. And I'm the recording secretary at Brooklyn Tech Parents Association, where my 2 kids go to school. My son just graduated last year. But I'm not here for that reason either. In fact, I'm just here right now as Vito. And I'm here as a former New York City Transit Police officer. I came on in 1986, a year after our presumptive next mayor, Eric Adams. And so I know that it's not, good karma to count your chickens before they hatch or have the fireworks show ready to go, because bad things can happen. And Eric, you've done a great job of being humble and a great job of playing this the right way. But let's be honest, we need you to come out and be a little bit more forceful about what you can do to help us.
Yeah!
Remember, Eric, way back when we were doing train patrol, they put us out there with a radio that didn't work, and they gave us a booklet, How to Secure Help, a little tiny booklet. We kept it on memo books. And we're riding trains, and we would come upon someone who needed something, and it could be looking for shelter, it could be a resource, and we'd go in our booklet and would find these people help. I know you were there, Eric. I was there with you. Right now, we have thousands of families from across this city looking to you, Eric, for help. We're looking to you for help. And I'm not here for my kids. They're beyond this. I'm here because people came to me and asked me to help, and old habits die hard. So I'm helping them. And we're asking you to stand up for the thousands of students, thousands of families who are in limbo right now, and say that you will help them.
Yes!
Telegraph right now that should you become mayor, this entire process will be stopped.
Show your stand!
Do not let the DOE bureaucrats tell you that it cannot be done, because I know that it can be. You also have to bring some NYPD culture from across there to this building here. You need to make sure the people in this building know. You need to make sure this people know that every person in this building who holds a discretionary position, from the chancellor on down to every single deputy superintendent out there, should have to reapply for their current position to make sure that they're on the same page as you are.
That's right. Yeah!
That's what happens in NYPD. Commissioners and chiefs all have to go. Well, we need to do that at the DOE.
That's right.
Eric, we're counting on you.
Right.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll switch hats again. So now I'd like to introduce Ursula Young. Ursula? Well, okay, great. Just speak in the microphone.
Hi, my name is Ursula Jung. Can you hear me at the back? Because when I was there, I'm here to speak in favor of GNT, but there's a lot of us here, so I'll keep it brief, at least relatively brief. My older son took the GNT exam in 2011, and that year there was 116 qualified students for every seat in a citywide GNT. That's harder than an Ivy League acceptance rate. It's ridiculous. I had not even realized until that point that when people say getting into these programs is like winning the lottery, it literally is a lottery.
Keep talking.
Once we had got over the hurdle of admission, I actually really want to talk to you guys later. You were not willing to. Once we had got over the hurdle of admission, I've seen over the past 9 years both my children flourish and thrive in an enriched curriculum that has been challenging and pushed them to do their best. I've also observed with friends in different parts of the world that despite the accelerated education, they were just about on par with general ed classes in many countries.
Yep.
And this trend in elementary classes continues through and is reflected in declining standards of high schools in the US on a global scale. There is no doubt that there is a moral case to be made for focusing attention on high risk and low performing students. Of course, the system must adjust current policy to aid the disadvantaged. I don't think there's anyone amongst us who disagrees that all our children benefit from a more diverse environment and classroom.
Yes!
However, this is not a reason to neglect students at the other end of the learning curve. I recognize, especially here, that the term GNT causes a very knee-jerk negative reaction in many people. But we're not here to talk about semantics. I think we need to look at something that all of us here agree on, and that is that different children learn at different speeds. And what brilliant NYC, the mayor's new plan proposes, is merely corrupting a version of fairness in its neglect of advanced learners.
That's right.
There is a lot of data that shows that when there is insufficient public investment in identifying and serving GNT students, it is in fact the economically and socially disadvantaged who suffer the most. Better off families will always find a way to supplement their children's learning. Others will lose out. As a city, what we should be doing is highlighting the lack of access to great programs in underserved populations. I want to end by taking a huge liberty, which is speaking on behalf of many people who are standing here behind me, which is that we will all work tirelessly with any administration that works to expand high-quality programs across the city.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Yes, we will work with everybody, and we will work with our friends, even the ones that disagree with us, to try to make education the best for every child in New York City. There's room for all points of view. There's room for everyone. Yes, there is. We'll be with you. So next up, it's the parent portion. Kay Mao. Kay? Kai? Thank you, Kai.
Thank you so much. Can we take this chance to thank NYPD police officers?
Yeah!
Thank you for coming to help us.
Thank you!
I am a proud gift school father. My occupation is scientific research, so I believe facts speak louder than words. De Blasio's kids attended GNT school in Brooklyn. De Blasio kids attend GNT school in Brooklyn. The gifted and talented program is so good. So our mayor sent both of kids to it. His son is now attending Yale University. Now,
Privilege.
yes, you're right, privilege.
Went to Brooklyn Tech too.
Parents, teachers, and students overwhelmingly support to expand such a good program. Although we have different opinions, that's okay. So we're all not satisfied with New York City public schools. It's okay. We are educated, so we are inclusive.
Yeah.
The elimination of the program is pure political move. It's nothing about education. The mayor politicalized public education. He wants to mobilize his radical left voter base. He wants to left a political legacy to New York City, and he become the next governor of New York State. That's right. We heard this news and laughed for 15 minutes. It's
my God.
pure political. It's nothing about education. By eliminating GNT, the mayor is teaching cancel culture. He implies test preparation is shameful. Attend GNT program is shameful. No, it's not. It's an honor.
Yeah.
He said, prepare for education. Invest on education, prepare for the test. It's a privilege. No, it's our precious heritage. It's our tradition. He is teaching, he is cancel America hardworking culture and teach our kids to purely depend on luck. That's not right. Also, he is teaching racism. He called GNT program segregated. It's not. It's racial disparity. It's not a segregation. What happened in South Africa? That's segregation. It's racial disparity. He don't want to help our black and Latino neighbors to address the education disparity in our community and the schools. Instead, he teach our black and Latino kids to hate because Asians are doing so good. That's not. It's anti-Asian hate. By eliminating not only the GNT program, but also the screened middle school and the special high school education. He is destroying the evaluation system of New York public schools. He is dragging everybody down. He is making each student equally uneducated. He is making every student equally unprepared for college, making the need for every student equally unsatisfied. Mayor de Blasio and Chancellor Potter did a terrible job. It's time for them to go. As a parent, time to go.
Time to go.
As a parents, we want the next mayor to engage with parents and make a plan to keep the test, because a GNT program without a test is not a real GNT. And we want the next mayor replace this current incompetent chancellor, appoint a real educator, not an activist, to work with us, not to fight with us. We want to bring back common sense back to school again. We want to make New York public school great again. And the next year in the election, we want to make de Blasio jobless again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank God for term limits. Next up, Mr. Clayton Broom.
Clayton.
How can you follow that up? I gotta find the energy. Okay, I just wrote some things down. I would just like to say that the government officials and leaders in New York City education have been perpetuating the lie for far too long, and I am sick and tired of it. What is the lie? Only privileged children of higher socioeconomic backgrounds can gain access to NYC gifted and talented schools. Well, my only 2 children gain access to one of the most prestigious of these schools, and we are far from privileged.
Yeah.
And we couldn't afford any test prep. My wife and our first son just used what was available online, a website for moms with a $80 something subscription. The website provided practice tests, and that was it. He earned the perfect score and was admitted to a school that required it. There was no elite. Thank you. There was no elite test prep course for us. We made it happen. Our second son required a bit more prep, but again, inexpensive resources were found online, and he earned the score needed for sibling priority at the same school. He is an IEP. The truth? So what is the truth? The truth is that if education isn't the most important thing in your home, within your nuclear family, over everything else, then the odds of getting into such schools are extremely high. It isn't enough for a family to birth a precocious, mature child that cherishes their education. He or she will be competing with children of all backgrounds for limited seats. Both my sons were not surrounded by a lot of kids that looked like them, but there were a few. Every single one of them had one thing in common: education over everything. Education over clothes, education over vacations, sometimes education over food. I'm joking, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If education wasn't stressed these children of color in this school, then it was demonstrated by example. One classmate of my son, first generation Nigerian American, had a single mom who worked her behind off to maintain a roof over the boys' head, along with siblings, while she was in school to complete her education. One of his siblings was accepted to beat it. And he got into Stuyvesant. Where was I? One of his siblings got to Stuyvesant. Okay. Another mom moved mountains for his son to get into the same school while taking him and his sister to every one of their sporting events. Most of them came from broken homes and they were not rich. Some struggled, yet they were in the same school as my kids. Most of us families of color with kids in this school didn't live in the same borough as the school. We all made the commute. Why? Because education rules everything around us. My wife and I wanted the best school for our child, one that was within aptitude of his learning ability. We didn't care how far the school was from our home.
Build more schools!
And we benefited greatly. My kids are now on the trajectory that promises a great education and a diverse group of friends, and are also on the same path, My oldest graduated from the GNT and is now attending a specialized high school.
Yay!
I remember telling a teacher friend of mine, teacher friend from what, he was asking me what level my kid reads at. And you know the ranking goes by alphabet. I think at the time he was in 3rd or 4th grade, he was reading at an N or something like that. So my teacher friend looked at me in astonishment and was like, most 8th graders that he teach 8th grade. Most of them are not even reading at a G or something like that, which means they're far behind my own son who was in 3rd grade. But this was in tribute to the gifted and talented schools. The numerous variables that make us the result and lack of diversity are as vast and nuanced as the great city of ours. I have friends in my community who are encouraged by teachers of their children to let the child take the GNT exam. They refused. You know why? Because their neighbors told them that if the child doesn't get the necessary score to be accepted into the school, it could damage their self-esteem. So guess what? That child missed out on the opportunity to go to a GNT's program. But no one talks about the variable of parents who either avoid the exam or don't know about it. they don't want to talk about the parents who preferred their local schools only because convenience, since the G&T are far in between. They don't want to talk about the majority of parents that look like me who hedge their bets on charter schools, ignoring the possibility of a seat in the G&T school. They don't want to talk about education being second place sometimes, and this is true, to other things. The problem with the lie about only the privilege is that it makes people of color believe in their shortcomings, since most of us are not privileged. My family is living proof that the lie is just that, a lie. A myth that needs to be obliterated if we want to see real progress in our community. This alone would bring no programs but schools into every neighborhood would be the only solution, which I was trying to say is bring G&T into every neighborhood.
Yeah!
That's it. That's the solution. It's really that simple. But guess what? No one wants to talk about that either. Thank you.
Give it up for Clayton! Thank you, Clayton. Yeah! Clayton Brown, ladies and gentlemen. We preach respect. We try to listen to everyone. And you know when your argument is not working is when you won't let another person speak.
Yeah! Yeah!
With that, we'll move to another speaker, Ms. Michelle Lee, co-chair, Place New York City, and the co-chair of our G&T working group. I'm sorry, so we're going to have the other co-chair, Hunter Dare, who's got the same resume.
Thanks, Vito. Hello, everybody. My name is Hunter Dare. I'm co-chair of Place NYC's G&T working group. We put together this rally today and are leading the battle to save G&T in New York City. And I want to thank all of you who have come out today. There must be 200 of you here to save G&T. Thank you.
It's more than 200 now.
You are on social media, you are coming to rallies, you are going to CEC meetings, and your voice is being heard, and you are making a difference.
I know. I was late. I was trying to get out of this.
The mayor says that all kids will benefit from eliminating G&T. Do we say yay or do we say no way?
No way.
The mayor says the DOE is capable of training every teacher in the city to provide acceleration, differentiation, and enrichment in every single classroom. Do we say yay or do we say no way?
No way.
I say to the mayor, if this is your solution that is going to fix our failing schools, why haven't you done it already, Mr. Mayor?
Why?
For 8 years, you had the power to bring enrichment, to bring acceleration, and to bring differentiation to every classroom. Why haven't you done it, Mr. Mayor?
Why?
Every one of these things can exist right alongside a G&T program. The two are not mutually exclusive. What the mayor has never said, not even once, is how G&T classrooms that don't cost a single penny more than a general education classroom are preventing him from providing these things to every single child in NYC.
Exactly.
There are gifted kids reading chapter books when many kids are learning their ABCs. While many kids perfect multiplication in 3rd grade, there are gifted kids who have taught themselves that when they were 3 years old.
Yeah.
These kids' needs are not going to be met by being in a small group that's working a semester ahead or is doing a practical math problem exercise. They need radical acceleration. They need to be a year ahead, 2 years ahead, or even farther ahead, and they need a classroom where that can be possible. No matter how much training we give our teachers, we cannot demand that these public servants teach separate curriculums to 4 or 5 groups of kids in classes of 32 students that range anywhere from 2 years behind to 2 years ahead of grade level. If the mayor was serious about meeting the needs of gifted learners, he would have proposed a pilot program that could show that the DOE can actually train teachers to provide differentiation, enrichment, and acceleration and meet the needs of such a broad range of learners. He did it with everything from pre-K to implementation of new reading programs. He did pilots. And so if he was announcing a pilot a week ago, I don't think we would all be standing here. It's because he's trying to make a radical change and eliminate all G&T programs without proving that he can make the new program work. There are many things that the DOE, that the mayor could do to make G&T accessible to all students around the city. One of the things that he could do is he could provide universal screening for all students.
Yeah!
That has shown to increase black participation in G&T programs by 90%. It has shown to increase Latino participation by 130%. A second thing that he can do is that he can use both local neighborhood norms and national norms to admit children to G&T programs. Yes. Local norms will further increase the presence of black and Latino students in our G&T programs. The third thing that he can do is he can make a seat available to every single student who qualifies.
Yes.
Let me say that one more time.
Say it.
He says there's only 2,500 new students being served every year, but there are 10,000 students qualifying. And with universal screening, there would probably be double of that. So why not have a seat for every child that needs it?
Yeah. Add more seats. Add more seats. Add more seats. Add more seats. Add more seats.
Thank you. What the mayor needs to do is stop killing excellence, expand successful programs. We need a G&T program within yellow bus distance of every single child in the city. So not a single parent has to say, I'm not having my kid test, or I'm not sending my kid to this seat I've been offered because I can't afford to send them across town, or I don't have the time to send them across town, or they weren't ready as a 4-year-old, but they're ready now as a 6 or 8-year-old. We need a seat for everybody, no matter when they qualify.
Yeah.
I thank you guys for coming out here again today, and thank you, Vito, for making this opportunity for me to speak.
Thank you, Hunter. Okay, so now we'll go to the other co-chair of the Gifted and Talented Working Group, Michelle Lee.
Hi, so it's funny, I was going to echo Lisa in saying that I would never in my life think that I'd be addressing a rally. I'm typically a pretty private person. My Facebook page has a cat on it. I don't even show pictures of my children. But I felt compelled to speak today because this issue is so personal, and if I don't advocate for my kids, who will? Now, Hunter spoke about ways on how we can expand the program and make them more accessible, but I want to follow up on why it is really important that we refute the argument that dismantling them will not be disruptive or have long-term consequences because our kids will just be quote-unquote okay. Now, I want to tell a story about my brother, and he gave me permission to speak about it. But my brother was a classic example of an academically accelerated kid. He was reading and performing math at a much higher level than what his school could afford. And what happened, and it's funny how history repeats itself, but they dismantled what they called back then the tracking programs. So he had no options to explore accelerated programs in his school. So what happened? His teacher was forced to teach a wide range of abilities from kids who couldn't add fractions all the way up to kids who could do pre-calculus. And what happened to my brother? Predictably, he was bored. He acted out, and he had his teacher call him arrogant for wanting to be more academically challenged. He was sent to the principal's office multiple times, and it got to the point where he just shut down and stopped talking altogether. Now, his love of learning was destroyed, and he ended up having to skip the remaining grades. And that's another argument I hear. Well, why don't these kids just skip grades? I'll tell you what happens to a kid who skips grades beyond what he can emotionally handle. My brother, again, went to a high school that got rid of their AP classes, and he had to go to the college in order to get his academic needs met. He was a 14-year-old kid with 20-year-old adults, and he lost out on his high school social life. He was completely ignored by the college adults, and he lost so many years of what should be one of your most joyful years within your school experience. So, what people don't recognize is these programs are safe havens for our kids.
Yeah.
They are safe havens for them to be who they are, to be with other peers who want to learn with them. And I think that gets really ignored when we hear a lot of these storylines about these children. There's definitely a place for enrichment courses within a mixed ed, but there's also a need for district and city-wide programs. There needs to be a place for people like my brother to learn without fear of being ostracized or bullied. Research has shown that mixed ability classrooms will not meet the needs of academically gifted kids. And that is exactly why Brilliant NYC is not going to work. So when people say, your kid is going to be okay without these programs, my brother was not okay. I personally saw the consequences. I saw how it impacted him as an adult. And I would definitely say that for those who think that we need to sacrifice for the greater good of the general community, which is what a teacher told us in one CC meeting, that is not the reality for some of these children. So I call on the next administration, you need to really evaluate that accelerated learning is a real need. Not a fake need, it's a real need that kids deserve. And I also want to thank the parents that came here, because at the end of the day, only we can be our children's best advocates. Please do not give up the fight, and please push for making true accelerated options happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So now, Ms. Stephanie Wong from the United Chinese Association of Brooklyn.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Wong and I come from the Brooklyn, and on behalf of my community to express our concern. Education is cornerstone of our country. This is very important. That's why we have heard from elected officials and community leaders, parents, teachers, children, to express our concern and outrage that the mayor only have the 3 months left on his position to make this worst decision to our education. And we heard all the voice. Hopefully the mayor heard our voice as well. If you ignore our office, and we will make sure whenever that you're going to run any offices, and we may make sure you won't win any offices in the future.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe our next mayor, which most likely is the area Adams, our board president, who will keep his promises to expand GNT. First, he reversed the GNT program and expanded. So this is my statement from our community. So hopefully the mayor will hear from us. And I like speaking a little bit Chinese to our participants who don't understand English. And 各位家长、各位参与的人，我刚才讲，我希望我们的市长他可以听到我们的声音。如果他听不到我们的声音，不管他以后要选哪一个位置，我们要 make sure， 我们一定要确定他是选不上任何市府的职位。我们要用我们的选票来让他听到我们的声音，好不好？
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we must be having an impact because I'm getting people from all over, electeds and parents, that want to say something. So I want to acknowledge that we have a statement of support from Senator Robert Ort. He's the GOP Senate Minority Leader, and his statement will be available on our website. Next up, Ms. Dimi Jean. Mr. Dimi Jean.
Mr. G, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for everyone to give me this opportunity today. Thank you to our media, our police officers, and to everyone who allowed this happen. This morning, my 5-year-old son asked me, "Dad, I've been working so hard. Am I really gonna be successful?" And he broke my heart. For the first time, my son really broke my heart. He did break my heart because as a parent, I've been working so hard with my son, working and trying to keep up with him, with his eager for his self-discovery and the wonder of the world that he's living. And the only program that was really successful, a program with driven track records of success, the only program that I was relying on to help me challenging my son and make sure that he developed his full potential. Now this program is being canceled and will be replaced with something without any data to prove indeed that there is a better alternative. This breaks my heart.
It breaks all our hearts.
And why they make this sound like a race issue? There are thousands of gifted children from all the race and ethnic of ethnicity on a GNT wait list who will never ever have the chance to be in the program. Why? Is that my son's fault, being a GNT student? Is that the parents' fault? No. We cannot have any successful plan without any community and parent engagement. Why? Because we are the first one to witness our children's ability to comprehend material several grade levels above their age peers, surprising emotional deep and sensitivity at the young age. The enthusiasm about unique interests and topic, creative problem solving and initiative expression, social and global issue awareness. We are the first one to witness those. We know our children and we know how much they are surprising us. So it is time for all black and brown children to have also a chance to develop their gifted ability so they also can be the next astronaut, the next rocket scientist, or simply a human being well prepared to compete in the most advanced and technological world that we are living today.
Yes. Yeah.
Therefore, I'm asking one thing. I'm asking to expand GNT to all neighborhoods' children. So regardless of one ethnicity, they have a chance for a bright success. They also may have a chance to succeed. Our children also can be the next one to create a city in the moon. Our children also can be the next one to go to the Mars and decide whether we can live in there. Our children from this neighborhood, from the neighborhood where we are living right now, should have the same opportunity to be doctors, engineers, to be the one to design the future, creating flying cars, put their imagination into action. Yes, they can. And all they need is the opportunity. All they need is a better education. When I come to this country, I didn't believe in anything else. I always thought, like, if I'm well educated, well, I'm a polyglot, I speak 5 languages, and I have a background in computer science. So I say, all right, I'm good enough. I can be succeeding everywhere I go. And while I was in college and I received my first job to come and work in the US, I was right, because I was very successful in what I was doing. I had the privilege to travel the world and being in front of 76 different nations, different nationalities, and translating and working and enjoying my job. Why? Because when I was a kid, when I was a little child, as my son, I only believe in one thing, that education is everything I need. That education is the real passport, is the real visa that I can ever need. And I always believe that I have to do the best. I have to do whatever it takes. Try the best that I can and everything. I did it for fun at the time because I didn't understand much. But this is what I had. I didn't have a better choice than that. And this is the same emotion my son this morning is passing on. Dad, am I really going to be successful? It's not an easy question for any parent to answer. And therefore, I'm asking you all to come and work together with us, our leaders. We deserve better. Our children deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Demi Jean, ladies and gentlemen. Demi Jean, thank you again. So now, CEC 2 Diversity Admissions Chair, Co-Chair, Robin Kelleher.
Hi. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Demi, for speaking. As Vito said, I am CEC District 2 Co-Chair of Admissions and Diversity. I'm also former co-president of PS33 PTA. I'm in the outreach position on PS33. And at Lab Middle, I had 3 boys who went to PS33 and 1 who is now at Lab Middle School. But I am not here to talk about my situation, and I'm not here on behalf of my schools. I am here on behalf of children like Alexis, Demi's son, and on families like Demi, on families who cannot be here today. I'm here to stand up for education. I'm here to represent the more than 25,000 children in gifted and talented programs across the city. I'm here to speak up for them and for their families, because unfortunately you can't hear from those students. They don't have a say in their future right now because they are in school. They are doing what they thought they were supposed to do, what we told them they were supposed to do, which was to work hard, to achieve, to study, and that was all they needed to do. And guess what? That is not the situation right now. Mayor de Blasio's assault on education is deplorable. He has maligned hard work and the desire for excellence. Why? We should all be asking, why is this happening? To cover up for his abomination of leadership. Rather than admit to failing the hundreds of thousands of children in New York City, he's trying to pit families against one another, like we see today. We should all be here for children, but we're not. We are fighting among one another, when really we all want the best for our children. Tests show that over 50% of New York City school children are on average below grade level. And this learning loss is not new. This started way before the pandemic. Rather than admit these failures, de Blasio wants to lower the bar for all children. He wants to lower the bar for all children. He wants to do away with gifted and talented, forget about advanced classes, and he's telling people this is about equity. De Blasio, has made this into a racial justice issue. And I am here to tell you it is not. This is not about race. This is about our children. If we want to help children of all races and all colors and all socioeconomic backgrounds, we need to put gifted and talented programs in every single neighborhood. They used to be in every neighborhood. Look around, ask yourselves why they're not. Why were they taken away from neighborhoods? Why were Black and brown children deprived the access to accelerated education? That is racism. Depriving children who need acceleration of that type of education is what is causing the problem.
What time you got?
This is how we help children succeed. Not by holding everyone back. Do not lower the bar. Demand higher standards. This is New York City, everyone. This is the Big Apple, where generations of people, our ancestors, our great-grandparents have flocked to create better lives for themselves and their families. We've always stood as a beacon of hope. A beacon of hope for a chance at a better and greater future. New York City, we have a responsibility to the rest of this country. Okay, cities all over the country are looking to us to see what we're gonna do. And let's tell them, what are we gonna do? Yes, please, let's do that. Let's not be the generation to obstruct excellence. Allow our children to thrive. Save gifted and talented, and save education. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. And now the other CEC Diversity Admissions Co-Chair, Kushnik Das.
Thank you, Vito. Thank you, Place. Thank you, Yatin and Lucas. Thank you for everyone who made this possible. Before I start, I want to shout out to PS33, where I was the SLT co-chair for 2 years. I'm also proud to be an Anderson parent now. I know we have several of them here. These are two schools that de Blasio says he's phasing out. Phasing out? Nonsense. These are schools that are going to be devastated by his decision. Mayor de Blasio is a coward. In the dead of the night, he announces a ridiculous plan, unvetted, unsubstantiated, to cover up his misdeeds, cover up his misgivings, and to cover up his security scandal. He says he knows we want him to run for governor because he talks to New Yorkers. Did he talk to you? Did he talk to you? I know he didn't talk to me, because I would have told him to stay the fucking New York City and stop spending my tax dollars, because you're not gonna win. I call de Blasio politically impotent. He couldn't wrangle his own appointees on a panel for educational policy to do what he wanted for gifted and talented. And now he's afraid to talk to you parents. Ridiculous. I call Chancellor Porter a coward and a liar as well.
Liar!
She also said she'd talk to all of you. Has she talked to any of us?
No.
Has she talked to any PTAs?
No.
Any CECs?
No.
Any SLTs?
No.
Absolutely not. She does have a tiara. Equity and excellence for all? Nonsense. Where is the equity in lumping all of us into 4 inglorious buckets? It doesn't matter who you are, when you came to this country, whether you're an immigrant, a refugee, or born here, you are white, you are Asian, you are black, or you are Hispanic. I see far richer cues than that.
Yeah.
I know for sure she doesn't talk about my brown children when she's talking about brown children. She lumps all of Asia, the giant continent of Asia, in one bucket. As well as my other half of my family is Latin American. Another one bucket. How many countries is that? As for excellence, let's not even get started there. Black and brown kids, which she says she speaks up for, are the supermajority are failing. They have test scores and grades that are not at academic level. And then they want to pitch a program that's acceleration for all? Are you kidding me? That's acceleration for none. Where is the reason? We always say that being age 3, 4, 5, very developmentally pivotal. Yes. But now we're not going to teach them at a higher level if they're ready? Do we push down our kids when they're ready to walk and say, wait for your peers? No! We let them run if they're ready. She's not letting us do that. The mayor is not letting us do that. I agree. Hear, hear. And here's a word to the next mayor. I know Sliwa is listening. Adams, are you listening? Are you going to let this lame duck, lame mayor, tell you what to do? Is that how you want to go out? No response necessary.
Woo! All right. Yeah.
Thank you. That woke us up again. So listen, I want to thank all the parents that have come. I know it's getting time for school pickup, so we're going to move it along. But thank you for staying. Those of us who can stay, thank you. And we do have another parent, Rose Chen. Rose, I know Rose. Yes, hi Rose. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. I'm a parent from a GNT.
Hold the sign.
Do you know why I choose the GNT school?
Why?
I applied to one of the schools in my district, just 10 blocks away. But they put me on the wait list over 100. We only get the offer from her pre-K school, but it's an offer environment. There are kids bullying and taking belongings from my kids' backpack. We hope there are more options, but GNT is our only opportunity. Yep. We want to give her a try. We never send her to any costly tutoring facilities, as we're just working families. But we do spend time with my kid when she's very young. We read books to her every night and play Legos together. She loves puzzles. She can play puzzles for over 1 hour by herself. She scored 99% in the GNT test. She is a smart girl. She felt bored in the general education schools. She doesn't like the math in the so-called summarizing program.
Ooh.
But she loves the classes in the GNT school. She felt excited and challenging. She's expecting to go to school every day, even with the masks on all day long. People have the misconception that city pays a lot for GNT programs, but in fact, it costs lesser than general education. Instead, we pay a lot more time with our kids to help them learn and grow. We value education. There are many more of these kind of smart kids in her class, in her school, even more out of her school. They all need this kind of accelerated and enriched education.
Yes.
They need more GNT programs.
Yes.
They have the right to have it, just like the District 75 kids who also need special education. I also have a 2-year-old kid who's going to school soon. I have no idea which schools I should apply to without the GNT, and how I can deal with the commute with different schools. I'm so shocked by the ridiculous plan Mayor made. It's struggling for the parents and also the teachers. I heard from the CEC meeting, one of the teachers told us the burdens will lay on the shoulders of those underpaid teachers with overcrowded classrooms. Teachers' time will be used for differentiated instructions for teaching multiple levels of students, which sounds great, but in reality, unfortunately, teachers will need to spend most of their time in those who are below level and who have behavior problems. She has to pay more attention to the students below age level and cannot help the students who are above their age level and ready to go further. How can we call this plan brilliant if the teacher cannot meet the needs of all the students? Where's equity for those smart kids? Smart is not wrong. No one can stop them from learning in their way. Even the mayor cannot. Mayor de Blasio, please listen to the families, to the parents. Do the engagement you promised and expand more GNT.
Go Rose! Thank you, Rose! Good job.
All right, now we're fired up.
Yeah!
Mark Land, come on.
Thank you. How can you not be passionate about education? How? I'm a U.S. military veteran. I served the Army 8 years. I was deployed for 9/11. But did you know that I joined the Army only 6 years after coming to the States? Why did I do that? My parents brought me here because America is a nation built on freedom. A nation built on meritocracy, not mediocrity. They wanted to give me the opportunity to be successful here, to achieve the American dream. And I loved that slogan, and I loved that principle, and that's what I feel is worth fighting for. So I joined the Army to protect this country because I love America.
Thank you!
Now it baffles me that I have to actually stand here to fight for education for my kids. It's a very simple and common sense problem. If everyone is benefiting from GNT, why not make it more for all the families?
Yeah!
It just doesn't make sense to me. People against GNT keep saying this is a racial problem. You know, the student body is mostly white and Asians, therefore it's not a reflection of the actual student population, and therefore it promotes segregation and racism. How is that even an argument? Think about what you're saying. The message you're sending. America is made out of 60% white, 19% Hispanic, 14% blacks, and 6% Asians. Does that mean America is a racist country because it doesn't reflect the world population demographics? How does that work? The NBA has 75% black players, only 18% white, and 0.4% Asians. Does that mean the NBA is racist? Because it doesn't reflect the American population? How is that even an argument? Like, that just makes me enraged. Like, why are people even saying these things? And here's the fact that I just learned recently. Year after year, New York City publishes data about poverty in this city. And the one race that is mostly affected by poverty is Asians. Did you know that? Where is the equity in that?
Exactly.
When most families need it most, the mayor is taking away from them. Mayor de Blasio's decision to get rid of GNT, it goes against the very fabric of meritocracy. In fact, if you look at nation's rankings, GNT schools are among the top in the entire country. Doesn't that tell you that GNT is working? That the schools that have GNT programs are working? Just the other day, another parent told me, oh, you know, this PS 166 school didn't have a GNT program before, but once they installed a GNT program inside, the whole entire school education level went up. Oh my God, is that like just unbelievable? Why can't we replicate that in all the schools? So every school can be better. It's a simple solution, guys. It's very simple. And I want to say to the next mayor and the next administration, we the parents will work with you. We will do whatever it takes to make it more accessible, to make it more universal for everybody to go to GNT and achieve what they want to achieve with the ability that they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your statements today. You're continuing to serve this city and this country, and I want to thank you very much. Natalia Chen. Natalia, we're calling people out. We don't know who had to leave. Is Natalia here? Natalie? You? Yes. I apologize. Natalie Chen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Young, actually. My daughter is at next class M. I'm strongly against the mayor's abrupt decision to discontinue the working GNT program without public hearing and viable alternatives. First, no hearing shows the mayor doesn't care about what we people think. He only does whatever that fits his political agenda. This mayor robbed us of democracy this great country is most proud of. Waiting until only 83 days before his term ends to announce is absolutely irresponsible. Why do I personally need a GNT program? Our Song School has a middle school in the same building and was once ranked one of the most dangerous schools in the entire Manhattan. GNT program provides us an opportunity to study in a safe environment. My 6-year-old daughter loves her school very much, and this morning when she learned I'm going to this rally today, she asked me, Mom, could you please make sure that they do not cancel my school? And I made her a promise. I'm a mom, and I'm going to fight. Whatever it takes, I'm going to fight her school. GNT is a need, not a privilege. Why do we New Yorkers all need the GNT program in the public education system? Because it's in fact one kind of special education, just as these great parents just mentioned. In 2020, there are 5,834 kids applied for kindergarten, and 3,541 kids scored 90% and higher in the GT test. Clearly, there is a strong need for the GNT program. That's why there's never enough seats. Should we just ignore the kids who will be born in the regular classroom and let them forever, or just let them thrive in an accelerated program? I hate to see so many kids that qualified but do not get a chance to go to the GNT school. So please expand the GNT program. Bring more seats in Bronx, Harlem, Queens, Brooklyn. GNT program is a need, not a privilege. Yes. Mayor de Blasio knows all about this. That's why he sent his own kids to GNT schools. Why did he vote against that back then? What hypocrite he is. We should expand the GNT program and add more entry points, more GNT seats, especially in district GNT schools, and universal screening, not eliminations. I agree that GNT admission is not perfect, and there's so much we can do to improve that. But elimination is not the solution. Expand GNT. We need GNT, not less.
ready? Chris? Raimi, thank you very much. Here we go.
And I'm going to try and compete with these fine gentlemen on the nice bikes. Hello, my name is Raimi Kim Christ. I'm a native New Yorker. I'm going to read this up. I'm a native New Yorker who lives in Queens and grew up on the Upper West Side in a very racially and socioeconomically diverse neighborhood. I am the mother of 6th grade twins who attended a G&T program throughout their whole elementary school career. And for them, it was a program that met their individual needs as learners. One, a bright but shy girl who needed a teacher trained to draw out her confidence in her strong intellect and tap into her love of learning. The other, a bright boy who loved academic challenges and helping his teachers, but could easily be distracted and get in mischief if he was bored. We chose to enroll our children in the program they attended after they got off the wait list there, and after we turned down offers at 2 other G&T programs because we felt those programs were not a good fit for their needs as learners. So our decision wasn't G&T no matter what. It was about the specific program that met our children's needs as accelerated learners. We were lucky to have that choice. We know that. Their G&T class was socioeconomically and racially diverse. Some say, well, what can a test really tell about a 4-year-old's giftedness? True, the test may not be perfect, and we too actually questioned how much testing 4-year-old children really could determine. I will say that after our children spent 6 years with the same G&T classmates, we got to know many of them well, and many of those kids really did need to be challenged to meet their abilities, and they excelled in that environment. Others for whom G&T was not the right fit, they naturally transitioned out of the program. What I strongly, and I mean strongly, object to about Mayor de Blasio and Chancellor Porter's recent announcement dismantling the current G&T program is that they never consulted the families. And I mean parents and students alike, who actually have direct experience with these G&T programs, to understand what these programs mean and how they really support our children's needs. What we would keep or change and how. Instead, the mayor and chancellor literally pulled the rug out from under all our children. On their way out of political office, I might add, and they threw it in the dumpster with nary an engagement discussion that was promised to us. It's always easier to destroy than to build. Building takes hard work, planning, analysis, construction, partnership, perseverance, and, oh yes, hard work. Isn't that what we want to teach our children to do? To build and the path to do so, versus destroying something simply for sound bites and for empty accolades? Last Friday, on the Ask the Mayor segment of WNYC's Brian Lehrer show, Brian read my question, which I tweeted, about the mayor's lack of parent engagement. The mayor's and chancellor's answers clearly indicated that they still don't have a concrete implementation plan for brilliant New York, and I use air quotes here. Chancellor Porter called it, and I quote, because I was writing notes, a blueprint for a plan. Think about that, a blueprint for a plan. Mayor de Blasio called it a plan. Brian Lehrer actually pressed them on whether their proposal was a blueprint or an actual plan, and they couldn't even agree. So think about that, 3 months to go. They threw the parents a bone, i.e. me and all of you, by repeating several times that engagement will be an important part of the process over the next 2 months before they implement this so-called plan. That is not how to develop a successful implementable plan. First, you actually understand the needs and concerns of all stakeholders, then you use that knowledge to inform and shape your plan and come up with a solution. De Blasio did nothing over the last 8 years to improve accelerated learning, quite the contrary. And he didn't do anything to make it more accessible to more students. So why then is he going to, in the last 3 months of office, rip up what works for some families now, and then try to force a non-plan down everyone's throats? Why? Politics. So, we, the parents of New York City, charge Mayor de Blasio, Chancellor Porter, and this outgoing administration to leave office and leave G&T alone.
And we charge the next mayor and his new administration to do the hard work, to engage families proactively, to learn what to leave and what to fix, get suggestions on how to do this, and we have a lot of ideas, and do what is right for all children, the right way. Expand G&T programming, provide access to all families regardless of where they live in the city. Ensure communication about these programs reach all families. And give children, regardless of their socioeconomic background, a chance to have all their needs met appropriately. Don't destroy. Save G&T and expand accelerated opportunities for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're getting toward the end, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting toward the end. Our next speaker, CC member from Staten Island, Venus Tang.
My name is Vina Zizang, District 31 CEC GNT Chair. What I'm about to say are my own thoughts and does not represent CEC 31. So after I was elected by fellow parents onto the CEC, I began my work trying to ask the Chancellor and the Mayor to tell us more about reopening plans because I felt the need for parents to be informed. Obviously, that didn't happen until school started. I waited patiently to bring the topic of GNT onto the table in hopes that we can pass a resolution for the mayor to honor his word that there will be parent engagement involving the changes to GNT to make it more equitable while maintaining excellence. But through a New York Times article, most of us find out that the mayor had canceled the GNT program. Only one word comes to my mind: disrespect. I get a lot of, oh, we really appreciate you helping the community as a parent advocate. But are we really appreciated because the mayor just dissed us? Imagine finding out that your wife wants to divorce you through a newspaper ad. This is not parent engagement. This is totalitarianism. When you and Chancellor Carranza said the GNT program isn't equitable, we didn't immediately disagree. As a parent, if my children tells me something isn't perfect, on my mind it is to fix what is broke first. Not create a big clutter and then start sorting things out. It's a waste of time. And to you, now that your kids are done with the GNT program and the specialized high school, it is nothing to you. But to an immigrant family, it is everything. They came here for a chance to live the American dream. Don't make it seem like they are robbing another. And listen, I say another minority their chance to achieve that dream. They work hard for opportunities. I sat hours listening past midnight on those PEP meetings. The panel who did not approve the test budget. Most PEP panelists either said they aren't voting for the test because it is wasting resources, when that money can go into providing internet for kids living in shelters, or because it's the pandemic. It's not safe enough, though DOE said they are confident they can make it safe. Okay, then you created a truly inequitable format for kids to enter the GNT program. Teacher recommendation. Did it cross your mind at all that teachers are only human and bias occurs? If you truly felt this way was the way, maybe we can do a blended admission format where we get more GNT classes per grade, per school, and add students who teachers feel the test missed. This is parent engagement, by the way. If your kid does not pass the GNT test, it doesn't mean your kid is not gifted or talented. If there's anything in this pandemic showed, it is that everyone is important in this community. Don't give up on our children, our future. Let special education get their resources. Let the teachers teach and see the gifted and talented children. See them. They exist. Fix what is broke, not what is working. Expand GNT. Thank you.
Thank you. Expand GNT. Expand GNT. Expand GNT. Expand GNT. Expand GNT. Expand GNT. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you to our police officers. Thank you to our media people. Thank you to our friends, our elected officials, especially the ones that stayed this entire time, right? Yes, everyone, thank you. So please, thank you very much. Please follow us, placenewyorkcity.org. Follow us on Twitter. And on behalf of the entire organization, Place New York City, I'm Vito Labella. Thank you very much. Get home safely.